I've got the beginning of my pinch pot here. It's pretty tall, but if I wanted to make it a little bit taller, I'll show you how you can do that. So what we'll do is just take a chunk of clay and we'll roll it into a coil. So we'll start to roll that into a coil using the palms of our hands, nice and slow. And once it starts to become a coil, we'll place it on the table. I'm just gonna slide that out of the way. And nice and gentle, not forcing it too quickly. You can use your fingers, you can use your palms. Everybody kind of has their own way with this. You'll start in the middle, rolling from the center out. And if it starts to get a flat side, see how it's skinnier this way and fatter that way, we'll put it up on its end like that and gently tap it, kind of even it back out. And then keep rolling, and then keep rolling, and then keep rolling, and then keep rolling. You can also kind of roll from one end to the other like I just did. And then usually you'll push a little harder on one side, so it's good to kind of flip it over, keep it nice and even. And our goal is to get a nice, evenly thick, not too thin because it starts to get dry, round. If we looked at it from the side, it should be round coil. And this can be used to build up the height of our sides a little bit. And if I wanted to get really technical, this part of my pinch pot kind of dips down right here and it comes up right here. So I could make my coil a little skinnier in one spot, where it comes up here and a little fatter in one spot so that it fills that dip down space and it evens it out a bit. So let's try and do that. So we want most of it a little skinnier and then one part a little bit fatter. So I'm gonna leave this part as the fatter part. It's kind of already a little bit thicker there. We'll roll that a tiny bit skinnier. Just nice light pressure. I'm not really pushing hard at all. It's just kind of the weight of my hand. And then let's see if we lay that on there. We'll put the fat part right on the part that dips down here. And then wrap it around. Perfect. Now we're gonna take a cutting tool. I always like to trim off the very end of the coil because it usually has a little place where it kind of folds in on the end. So I'm just gonna trim that, get rid of it so it's nice and flat there. And then kind of see where we need to cut this so it matches up. All right, that looks pretty good. Let's get rid of that little bugger. Kind of push and wiggle those two together, make sure not to trap any air. And then my favorite way of attaching a coil without any scoring and slipping is just supporting it from the outside as we take a fingerprint or a thumb and kind of just gently scrape the surface of those together. So I'm making sure to support it while I am kind of smushing and smearing down, because if I didn't support it here, it would just kind of flop open and lose its shape. So I'm just taking the very edge of the coil, melding it with the piece below. As you can see, I'm working kind of quickly so that the clay stays wet and workable. If I work too slow, the clay is going to dry out, because whenever clay is exposed to the air, it immediately starts to dry out. And the more dry our plastic workable clay gets, the harder it is to kind of make it do what you want it to do.